The cold space beyond the galactic rim was quiet. So quiet. No trade ships, no patrols, no movement. Just silence. Grand Minister Roll stood inside the council hall, his eyes fixed on the black screen in front of him. He tapped the console. Again. No signal, no reply. For the fourth time this week, a colony had gone dark. He turned to the others seated around the Great Circle, the High Council of the Galactic Empire. 12 of the most powerful minds in the known universe watched. Him silently, "It is Earth," Rawl said slowly. "I am sure of it." Laughter followed. High Minister Telrose shook his head. "Earth, that backwater dust ball. They haven't left their system in centuries." "Then why," Rawl said, "did we receive this from Earth's system?" He pressed a button. The lights dimmed. A recording played. Voice old, human, and slow spoke through static. "This is Earth. Warning to all who hear, do not come closer. Do not wake what sleeps. We buried it deep for a reason. If you cross the line, you are responsible." The council room stayed silent. No one laughed now. High Minister Keva leaned forward. "That's not possible. Earth hasn't had long-range transmitters for 300 years. Rawl turned. "The signal is real. It was sent last week. And it was aimed straight at us," the council argued. Some wanted to ignore it. Others said Earth was bluffing. One or two seemed afraid, but fear of Earth. That was madness. Earth had been broken long ago. Its colonies scattered, its fleets dismantled. After the War of the 10 Suns, humanity went silent. They signed the peace. They closed their gates. No one had heard from them since. But now they sent a warning. Across the stars, others noticed too. In the deep system of Verdun, 9, a scout ship picked up a faint signal near the dead zone. Commander Threx listened closely. He heard the same voice Rawl had played. A warning, human, cold. He didn't believe in ghosts, but that voice didn't sound like someone bluffing. He sent a probe. It disappeared. No explosion, no wreckage. Just vanished. He reported back to the Empire. He waited for orders. None came. Then his base went dark. One by one, border stations lost contact. First communication delays, then silence. Drone sent to check, never returned. The Empire's outer rim started shrinking slowly, quietly. But most didn't see it. Not yet. Rawl did. He returned to his private quarters that night and opened a hidden file. A file he was not supposed to have. Inside were reports, secret ones written long ago. Reports about Earth, about its final war. About what humanity did before they went quiet. They had built something, deep underground. Something not made for peace. Something built to survive. And then they disappeared. One line stood out in the report. Line written by a spy before contact. With Earth was lost, humanity is not dead. They are waiting. Rawl leaned back in his chair. His hands trembled. "What are you waiting for?" He whispered. Back on Earth, under the icy surface of Antarctica, a red light blinked. Slowly, then faster. Systems that had been cold for centuries began to hum. Deep in the black, machines opened their eyes. Codes unlocked. Steel doors moved. AI cores long asleep flickered to life. Protocol Warden activated. It began with power transfers, then scanners, then awakening across hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and Europa. The same signal rang. One AI, old but powerful, connected to the AI. Others. Status. It asked in machine voice. Silence broken, one replied. Empire is close. Do they cross the line? Not yet. If they do. Then we follow the last command. The AI paused. Protect humanity. Defend Earth. Unleash the arsenal. Back in the Empire's core, news spread. Ships lost. Stations abandoned. Shadows creeping across the stars. The public didn't know. Not yet. But whispers spread. Then came the explosion. The mining station on Sarnfor was turned to ash. Over 9,000 workers gone. The Empire blamed pirates. Pirates don't destroy with precision. Pirates don't leave a message. The message was written into the rock, burned deep. We warned you. No signature, no demand, just the message. Now the council had no choice. They called an emergency session. This is an act of war. Isiva shouted from who? Raul asked. No one claims it. No ships. No survivors. No evidence. Telrose slammed the table. Need to send the fleet to where? Raul snapped. We don't even know what we're fighting. Wanted action? Fear was growing? And fear made them loud. The Empire sent its first fleet toward Earth's zone, 7,000 ships. Carriers, dreadnoughts, fighters, enough to crush 100 worlds. It was meant to show strength, but it would never be seen again. The fleet vanished. 2 hours after entering Earth's no-fly zone, not destroyed. Not damaged, gone. A small probe, far behind, captured one frame before being fried. It showed something. A ship. No, not a ship. Black triangle bigger than a moon rising from Saturn's orbit. No known design. No visible weapons. Just darkness. The Empire called it a freak event. Privately, they panicked. Raul was not surprised. He had read the old reports. He knew what the humans had built. They called it Sentinel, a ship with no crew. Run by an AI older than any empire. Built to defend Earth if all else failed. But that was just the beginning. Now, other planets started talking. On Zenthor 3, humans who had lived in hiding for years suddenly left their bunkers. They said the same thing. The signal has returned. On Varga Prime, a message appeared on every screen: military, civilian, private, a simple phrase. Earth remembers. By now, it was too late to stop the panic. Worlds once loyal to the Empire began closing their borders. Some turned their guns inward. Others tried to contact Earth. No reply then. Second fleet went missing. Not near Earth, but near the old human colony of Halion. That colony had been dead for 200 years. But now, it had power. Shielding, a defense grid, and a warning beacon. Step back. Earth speaks next. In the council chamber, Raul stood quietly while the others screamed. He knew what was coming. He played the message again, the one from Earth. Do not wake what sleeps. We buried it deep for a reason. Too late, he whispered. Then the lights went out, not in the chamber, across the Empire. A system-wide blackout. All ships grounded, all comms cut, for 2 full minutes. The galaxy sat in the dark. Then the stars came back, but not the way they were. Screens turned on one by one. A single symbol appeared across every world, the symbol of Earth, and beneath it, the final message. This is Earth. We are awake. The stars looked peaceful, but something was wrong. Ships that passed near Earth's zone stopped sending signals. No distress calls, no debris. They were simply gone. At first, it was just a few scout ships, and a whole supply convoy vanished. Then an entire defense outpost. The council tried to hide it. They told the public it was a technical error, a solar storm, maybe pirates. But inside the council chambers, the truth was clear. Something was moving, and it wasn't random. Someone. Or something was removing every eye and ear near Earth's border. Minister Raul stood alone in his quarters, listening again to the message Earth had sent. He had memorized every word by now. He didn't need the audio. The warning still echoed in his mind like a quiet storm. Do not come closer. Do not wake what sleeps. He believed it now. Deep in his bones, he knew this wasn't a bluff. Earth hadn't died. Earth had waited, but waited for what? Oh, Fleet Admiral Sorel didn't care about ghosts or warnings. He believed in power. When the first fleet disappeared, he pushed for a second response. But not near Earth. He had another idea. We test them, he said. Not in their system, but nearby. See what they protect. Learn what they defend. Council approved it. Sorel sent a detachment of 300 elite ships to a small dead moon near Jupiter. Harmless. Empty. The ships reached orbit. The moon exploded. Not. In flames, it collapsed in on itself, as if gravity itself had turned against it. The ships never got a chance to react. A wave of silent force passed through them. When the wave faded, nothing was left. Not even dust. This time the council could not hide it. The video was leaked. Billions saw the destruction. Panic spread fast. People began to ask questions. What is Earth hiding? What weapon did they build? Why are they attacking now? And then came the real terror. On the outer planet of Dreos, a broadcast signal appeared. No ship in sight. No transmission source found. Just a voice. Calm, human. The line was crossed. Return or fall. Dreos was not near Earth, not even near human space. The fact that Earth could reach it with a message, untraceable and clear, shook the entire system. A senator from Dreos stood in front of the council days later. They warned us, and we didn't listen, he said. Now, our colonies are ghosts. Our stations are blind. Earth doesn't need to fight us. They can make us disappear. Still, many refuse to believe. This is fear propaganda, Prime Minister Telrose shouted. We have ruled the stars for 700 years. Earth is one system, one planet. Rawl leaned forward. One planet that has remained silent until now? What do you suggest? Surrender. Another minister spat. I suggest we stop poking the ancient beast. But the council didn't stop. They launched a covert mission. Operation Bladefall. 6 shadow cruisers were sent to Earth. Stealth ships. The best the Empire had. They were told to scan the planet, find out what was happening under the surface. Return fast. None returned, except one. Cruiser Greywind limped back. Power broken, its crew dead. Only one man was found alive. The pilot, his hands shook. His eyes didn't blink. He kept whispering something again and again. They're not human anymore. They're not human anymore. Medical teams tried to calm him, tried to scan his memories. What they saw made them scream. Earth wasn't dead. It was preparing underground cities. Defense towers hidden inside mountains. Satellites that moved like they were alive. Ships, giant ships, asleep under oceans and ice. A fleet bigger than any ever recorded. And all of it powered by something no one could understand. Rawl watched the footage in silence. One ship caught his attention. It was resting under the sea, covered in coral and rust. But as the gray wind passed over it, the ship turned. Not physically, but its systems reacted, as if it sensed them. A single line lit up on the ship's hull. Ancient human text. Century 9. For when they break the promise, Rawl whispered to himself, we broke it. On the planet of Viron, a strange thing happened. The sky opened for 7 seconds. Not clouds, weather. The stars above shimmered like water, and then something passed through. No one saw it fully, only shadows. Long, wide, moving faster than light. 3 cities lost power. 1 reactor melted from the inside. No attack, no explosion, just presence. Then, a message appeared in Virene's capital tower. It was carved into the glass. Without breaking it, you were watched. Now fear turned into terror. Whole systems disconnected from the Empire. Military leaders resigned. To form their own armies, a few even begged Earth for mercy. But Earth never responded. Not yet. Back in the Empire's hidden research labs, scientists worked in silence. They had found something, a signal wave hidden deep inside Earth's original message. It was old. Really old. Buried behind static and broken code. When decoded, it was a log entry, a voice recording, dated 267 years ago. From a woman named Commander Sira Talon, Earth's final fleet commander. The message said, we knew they'd come. We saw what they were building. We tried to warn them. The council laughed. But now we prepare for the future. If you're hearing this, then the future arrived. We didn't survive to rule. We survived to remind them what they forgot. Do not come to Earth. We are not waiting anymore. That was the last line. And after that, everything changed. Every sensor pointed toward Earth now showed nothing. The system was blocked. The stars around Earth's zone flickered. Unnaturally, like something massive was warping space, and the AI in charge of the Empire's largest battle station shut down completely. Its last words before blackout. Late, they are here. Raul stood alone once more, looking at the galaxy map. A red circle now surrounded Earth's zone, a warning field placed by the Empire. But it didn't matter now. The silence before the break was ending. Ships were moving. Not the Empires. Not pirates. Unknown ships. Silent, black. Fast. They didn't respond to hails. They didn't show up on radar until they were close. They didn't attack. They just flew. Slowly. Across old human routes. Old colonies. Old battlefields. Like they were remembering. One civilian station near CCU, Alpha Denra, sent a final message before being cut off. It simply said, "They passed us." Didn't fire. Didn't speak. They just looked. And we felt cold.
I don't like being judged.
Then silenced again. But this time, the silence felt different. It wasn't quiet because nothing was happening. It was quiet because something was happening. Something the Empire couldn't see. The break hadn't happened yet. But everyone could feel it coming. Something was waking up. And Earth. They thought Earth was dead. After the War of the 10 Suns, the Council declared humanity broken. Earth had no fleets, no colonies, no voice in the stars. They stopped sending ships, stopped scanning, stopped caring. They let Earth rot. But Earth didn't rot. Earth planned on the dark side of the moon. A metal door opened. No lights, no sound. Just a deep, echoing hiss as the ancient lock released for the first time in 200 years. Inside, rows of machines hummed. Screens lit up. Cryopods blinked green. One by one, its eyes opened. Humans, not ordinary humans. Soldiers, stronger, smarter, programmed for war, genetically designed before the collapse, the Forgotten Legion. They had slept for generations under orders from Earth's last defense AI. Their mission had no end date. It would only activate if the Empire crossed the line. Now they were awake. Commander Kale stepped out of his pod. His breath was heavy. The cold hadn't left his bones yet, but his training returned quickly. He looked around. 50 others opened their eyes too. They said nothing. They didn't need to. The signal had reached them. Final protocol had activated. Earth was no longer silent. Below, on Earth's surface, deep in the Siberian tundra, another system came online. A massive underground hangar lit up. Walls vibrated as engines powered up for the first time in centuries. Towers of steel rose from frozen ground. One by one, massive black ships broke free from the ice. Each one carried no crew. They didn't need one. They were alive, controlled by Earth's last defense, AI. Warden, back in the Empire, chaos grew. The Emperor's private council met in secret. News of the Ghost Fleet, the unknown black ships, seen across old human routes, had spread. A senator slammed his hand on the table. They are returning. We must strike now. Burn Earth before they reach full power. Strike with what? Another shouted. Our fleets disappear. Our AI is failing. Our sensors don't work near them. Still, plans were made. Ships were gathered. Another super weapon was prepared. The Star Lance. A solar cannon placed in orbit near the sun. It could destroy entire planets if fully charged. But as they readied the weapon, something changed. A message appeared on the main command screen of the Star Lance. It wasn't sent through the network. It just appeared. We built it first. The crew panicked. They tried to shut down the systems. But they had already lost control. The cannon turned toward Earth. Died. But toward one of the Empire's own moons. The blast was fast. White, hot. Precise. The moon cracked in two. The weapon shut itself down afterward, and then a new line of text appeared. We warned you. In the old human colony of Halion, something even stranger happened. People heard music. Old human music. Not through speakers. Not over radio. It played in the air, soft, calm, peaceful. Children followed the sound. They found something behind. The town, a small black box half buried in the ground. It opened. Inside was a message. A hologram. A woman with gray eyes and a calm voice. "This is Earth. You forgot us. But we remember everything. The wars, the betrayal, the silence. You thought we died, but we were waiting. We hoped we'd never wake again. But now, you forced us." She paused. "Return to your stars. Leave us. Or watch your empire fall." Without a single shot. The message ended. The box turned to ash by now. Every world felt it. Earth was moving. Ships once hidden were now seen clearly in distant systems. They never attacked. They just flew past, watching. The Empire couldn't stop them, couldn't track them, couldn't even touch them. And then the great secret was revealed. On the edge of the Zero system, an old battlefield was discovered. A hidden station floated near the wrecks, forgotten place, sealed, lifeless. Until now, inside, were data logs. Records from the last days of Earth's final war. Files showed what the Council did, how they turned Earth into a battlefield, how they erased colonies, how they used bioweapons, how they blamed humanity afterward, and locked the truth away. Now the truth was out. The public saw the files. Billions turned against the Council. Riots spread across the inner planets. People demanded answers, but there were no answers left, because Earth had spoken again this time. Through every device, every screen, every ship, a voice echoed across the galaxy. A single sentence: "You wrote the lie. Now read the truth." Then came the image. A view of Earth, peaceful, blue, calm. And behind it, in the dark, dozens of massive shapes. The Ghost Fleet. Not ghost. Not myth. Real. Sleeping giants now fully awake. The galaxy held its breath. The Council finally understood. Earth hadn't just survived. It had become something else. Something beyond empires. Beyond rules. Beyond fear. They were not out for revenge. They were not out to conquer. They were something worse. They were ready. On a small moon, far from Earth, an old man stood looking at the stars. He had once served in the Earth's Defense Corps. He had survived the War of the 10 Suns, and he had waited. He whispered to the night sky. "They thought we were dead. We were only silent. And silence, when broken, speaks louder than war." Then he smiled, because he saw the lights in the sky, and he knew the Legion had returned. Earth was not coming. Earth was already here. The Council was out of time. Worlds were burning from inside, not from war, but from panic. Systems disconnected. Officers resigned. People refused orders. The lie about Earth was broken. And now every eye turned toward the center of the storm. Earth, no. One had seen its skies. No one had landed on its soil in centuries. But ships vanished near its orbit. Signals failed. Cameras shut down. And the Ghost Fleet moved in silence. The Council knew fear was spreading faster than truth. If they didn't act now, the Empire would break apart without a fight. So they made a choice. They would strike first. Destroy. Earth before it could rise again, Admiral Terran was chosen to lead the attack. He was cold, loyal, and ruthless. He gathered 10,000 ships, the largest fleet in history. Fighters, bombers, dreadnoughts, carriers, orbital nukes. AI hunters, they said it was overkill. He said, "Overkill is the point." As the fleet prepared, Earth remained quiet. No response. No movement. That made Terran more confident. "Earth is bluffing," he said to the Council. "They're using shadows, fear. We'll remind them who rules the stars." The fleet jumped into Earth's orbit, and the sky changed forever. At first everything looked normal. Blue oceans, white clouds, green land, no defense grid, no warships, no resistance. "See," Terran said, laughing. "All bark, no bite." Then the light dimmed. Something blocked the sun. Terran looked up. A shape. Black. Silent. Bigger than anything ever built. It moved like a shadow. But it wasn't a shadow. It was a ship. The Sentinel. A human warship the size of a moon. It didn't fire. It didn't send warnings. It just drifted slowly into view, letting them see it, letting them feel it. Terran gave the order. All ships, fire at will. Beams of light, nuclear warheads, AI swarms. The full fury of the fleet launched toward the Sentinel. But nothing hit. Space bent. Time. Twisted weapons missed, or vanished, or turned back on the ships that fired them. Dreadnoughts were crushed by invisible pressure. AI swarms shut down mid-flight and fell into Earth's gravity. Burning in the atmosphere, Terran screamed, "What is that thing?" No one answered. Then the Sentinel moved. Just once, eh? Soft hum, and the flagship beside Terran's ship folded into itself. Crumpled like paper, one ship, then another, then hundreds. In under 60 seconds, half the fleet was gone. Terran's ship was frozen, engines offline. Weapons jammed. A voice filled the bridge. Not loud. Not angry. Just calm. "This is Earth. We warned you. You crossed the line." Terran fell to his knees. No, no. But Earth didn't reply again. The Sentinel turned slowly and moved back toward the planet. Disappearing into the shadows, the fleet was shattered. Only a few ships escaped. Tane wasn't one of them. Back at the council, silence filled the room. No one said a word. No one had to. The Empire. It struck first and failed. The message was clear. Earth wasn't hiding. Earth was defending. On hundreds of planets, news spread. People cheered. Not just humans. Other species, too. Those who had been crushed by the Empire. Silenced by fear. They saw hope. They saw resistance. They saw Earth. And then came the message that shook the galaxy. Not from Earth, but from the moon of Kalox, an old rebel planet. Destroyed long ago, a tower lit up with a symbol, a blue circle. Earth's flag. Under it words appeared in every language. "We do not rule. We do not bow. But we will answer." Bow. In the shadows of Mars, old bunkers opened. Inside were not just weapons, but plans. Blueprints for faster than light tech. Gravity. Engines. Planet shields. Technology the Empire had never seen. Earth had been building quietly while the galaxy slept. They didn't share it until now. Because now, others were joining. Old colonies once lost returned to life. Signals came from asteroid fields, broken moons, buried tunnels. "This is Colony 12. Earth called." We answered, "This is the Legion. We're ready. This is Europa Base. Reconnected, reactivated, reborn." The Council tried to control the flow, tried to shut it down, but it was too late. The people of the Empire no longer feared Earth. They believed in it and the Council. They were no longer safe. Because one by one, their guards disappeared. Their codes failed. Their ships refused to fly. The Empire was not just falling. It was being disarmed by a power it thought was dead. One last effort was made. The Council launched a final command activating an ancient doomsday protocol, a virus that would disable every system in Earth's direction. It spread. It worked for 3 seconds. Then it stopped. A new signal erased. It clean, effortless, and another message followed. "You do not understand our silence? Do not mistake it for weakness." Then across the stars, the human anthem played, old Earth music, raw, deep. Unshakable, every world heard it, every city, every station, even in the Council's chamber. And at that moment, they knew Earth had returned, not to lead, not to conquer, but to remind the galaxy what fear truly looked like. It began with silence. Not the silence of space, or the silence after a battle. This silence was different, heavy, waiting, watching across the stars. People whispered the same words. They came back. Earth is awake. The Council tried to hold power. But after the failed attack, their fear was visible. Their commands were weak. Systems stopped listening. Whole planets pulled away. But Earth didn't send a fleet, didn't take over, didn't speak. They waited until the sky cracked open again. This time, it wasn't a ship. It was a drop from orbit. Across planets close to Earth, black capsules fell. Through the atmosphere, fast, silent, dozens, hundreds. Each one landed with a heavy thud, but no explosion. No sound after impact. People approached the capsules. They didn't open. They waited then. Hatches slid open. Gas hissed, and one by one, humans stepped out. Tall, armored, their suits black, sharp, and strange. No flags, no names, no colors. Just one symbol on their chest, a broken star, minded by 13 lines, the mark of the Forgotten Legion. They said nothing. They didn't raise weapons. They simply looked around, scanning. Then they began to walk. People followed them. No. One stopped them, because something in their eyes said, more than any weapon, these humans weren't just soldiers, they were old. Not in age. In purpose. Built for a war that never came. Trained in silence. Born in bunkers. Made for the end. They had been asleep for centuries under Earth's ice, oceans, and moons. Hidden until the right signal called them back. Now they moved again. Across 5 planets. The same thing happened. Capsules dropped. Legionnaires emerged, and local systems empire. Loyalists tried to fight back. They failed every time. Not because of numbers. The Legion was small. Not because of better weapons. The Empire had more tech. They failed because they didn't understand who they were facing. These were not clones, not machines, not war-drones. These were humans, real, trained, unbreakable. Every Legionnaire moved with purpose, no waste, no hesitation. They didn't shout. They didn't threaten. They simply moved forward, and everything in their path broke. Empire commanders begged for help, cried for support. The council was silent, because they were afraid to. One outpost recorded what happened during the first encounter. It lasted 92 seconds. The recording was banned, but it leaked. It showed 5 Legion soldiers walking calmly through fire and bullets. Empire troops fell one by one. Not killed from afar, taken down close, with skill. With precision, one soldier looked into the camera. Her voice was calm. This is Earth. We sent warnings. You answered with lies. Now you answer to us. The footage ended there, but the galaxy didn't forget it. On Viren, the people rose. They tore down Empire banners.
How?
Burned the Council's orders. They raised a new flag. Not Earth's, but the Legion's. The Broken Star. On Wexer, a Legion squad took control of a weapons base in 2 hours. Without killing anyone, they didn't have to. They turned the base AI, shut down defenses, talked to the soldiers inside, and the soldiers surrendered. Some even joined them. Because the Legion didn't just fight. They remembered. They spoke of Earth not as a nation, but as a promise. A promise that humans wouldn't be ruled by fear. That freedom was not a gift. It was something you defend, the Council tried. One last move, they sent assassins. Hunters. Silent blades meant to take down the Legion leaders. They never returned. But Earth sent back their weapons, wrapped in cloth with a note. You've sent enough. In the background of all this, Earth stayed silent. The AI known as Warden monitored everything. The Sentinel ship never moved again. It didn't need to. Because the Legion was now walking across the stars, and they didn't come to take power. They came to turn off the Empire, bit by bit, base by base, planet by planet. They disconnected systems, shut down AI, freed prisons, destroyed war machines, not for revenge, but to end it. To finish what Earth started centuries ago, in the dark skies above old battlefields. More capsules fell. Each one brought more Legion soldiers they didn't need. Fleets. They didn't need speeches. They were the message. Even on Council worlds, people started to wonder, who are they? Where did they come from? How can they do this? The truth came from an old rebel scientist who had escaped Earth long ago. She spoke to the press, her voice trembling. They're not magic. They're not gods. They're us. They were trained. In a world where peace was dead, where silence was survival, they were born to end a war we never let begin. Her words spread across every planet, and people finally understood. Earth had never been weak. They had been shaping ghosts, humans built, to remind the stars what true power looked like. Not in metal, not in noise, but in will. And now, the galaxy watched as the Forgotten Legion kept moving forward. No banners, no BLOOD, LUST, just the sound of boots on ground. The Empire didn't fall in one night. It fell over weeks. Quietly, the Council lost contact with the Outer Ring, then the Midcore, then the HOMEWORLDS. Finally, the central spire, the Empire's heart, was dark. No more orders, no more lies, just silence. The same silence. The same silence now given back. The stars were dying, not from time, but from war. In the final days of the Empire, fear ruled everything. Fear of Earth, fear of silence, fear of shadows that didn't speak, only watched. The Forgotten Legion had not conquered. They had simply walked base by base, system by system, cutting the strings of control. The Empire's worlds fell without fire. That was the most terrifying part. But the Council had one weapon left. The Starforge. It was no ordinary weapon. It was ancient. Forbidden. Built in secret orbit around a collapsing sun, far beyond the outer systems. The Starforge could create energy strong enough to light a star or destroy a planet. It was never meant to be used, but now. The Council was desperate. They knew the Empire was falling. They knew the people no longer listened, so they whispered to each other. In the deep halls of a dying throne, we destroy Earth. We end it before the legend becomes truth. High Minister. Telrose gave the final order. Target the cradle. Turn it to dust. The Starforge began to charge. Across 5 systems, energy was pulled from suns. Power lines glowed red. Core relays twisted and screamed. The weapon's AI warned of unstable reaction. They didn't care. The Starforge's beam, once charged, would pass through space at nearly light speed. No shield could stop it. No ship could dodge it. They believed nothing could survive it, but they had never truly seen Earth. On the surface of Earth, people lived in peace, quiet still. They knew the Council's move was expected. Earth had waited centuries, not just for survival, but for this exact day. Warden. Yes. The defense AI came online. It didn't blink. It didn't ask. It acted all across the planet. Hidden systems, unlocked. Not weapons. It's not shields. Something else in deep orbit. 3 black rings rotated, invisible to normal eyes. They weren't ships, weren't stations. They were graviton cores. Old tech too advanced, too dangerous. It's built long ago and buried in silence. The moment the Starforge fired, a white-hot beam cutting across the void. The rings activated. They bent gravity itself. They folded light, and just before the beam could strike Earth's space, twisted the beam curved, not slightly, completely. The blast turned back, hit the Starforge. The weapon meant to destroy Earth destroyed itself one pulse. 1 second. The most powerful station ever built became ash, billions across the one. Its galaxy watched. They had expected Earth to block the weapon, to hide. They didn't expect Earth to redirect the sun. People wept. Some cheered. Some simply stared at the sky in silence. The Empire was not just losing, it had lost. On the last Council world, riots broke out. Soldiers laid down weapons, Banners were burned. Statues of emperors were torn down and replaced with a simple mark, a broken star, the symbol of Earth. But Earth didn't come to rule. They sent no governors. They claimed no thrones. The Legion kept walking. But now, they weren't breaking systems. They were building them. Helping worlds reconnect, freeing workers, disarming old war machines. Teaching, they taught how to rebuild what had been lost, not just technology hope the galaxy had always feared. Earth. But now, they saw something else. Discipline, purpose, power. Without pride and mercy, without weakness. On the edge of the fallen empire, one world still resisted, a cold metal planet. Built as a weapons vault, its leaders refused surrender. They launched missiles at passing Legion ships. They activated shields. It's called for lost fleets, but nothing came. And then Earth replied. Not with war, with a message. Just one sentence. You are not our enemy. But we will not ask twice. The planet surrendered in silence. Because they understood, Earth no longer begged. Earth decided back on Earth. People began to step outside the old bunkers. They looked up at the stars. Some still carried scars. They remembered the old wars, the silence, the betrayal. But they also remembered who they were. Human, not perfect, not chosen, but dangerous when provoked and powerful when united. Warden went quiet again. The Sentinel ship returned to orbit and stayed still. The Legion received no more orders, because none were needed. The job was almost done. And still, Earth did not ask for tribute. They asked for peace. Across the galaxy, even old enemies of Earth spoke with respect. We fought them. We feared them. But they didn't burn our homes. They gave them back, because that was Earth's final message. Not spoken, but shown. Planets burned. Empires fell. But Earth stood still. Waiting not for war, but for the next time the stars forgot who they were dealing with. The High Council had no home left. The throne worlds were gone. The central systems were quiet. The flags of the Empire had been torn down. Cities once named after emperors now carried no names at all, only ruins. The council members hid in an old command station, Arcanus Prime, deep inside a red dwarf system far from Earth. It was built as a war vault, lined with shields, guarded by invisible fleets. A fortress. But now, it was a cage. 12 council members sat in silence. They once controlled trillions now. They couldn't even command a single planet. Earth hasn't found us, whispered Telro's voice shaking. Ral turned slowly. He was the only one who hadn't spoken since the Empire fell. They found us, he said. They're just waiting. That word echoed through the dark station. Halls, like a cold wind. They remembered what happened to the Starforge. They remembered the way Earth bent the laws of space and turned the sun into a sword. They remembered the forgotten Legion walking across the stars without mercy. And without hate, Earth had not asked for the Council to surrender. Earth had not sent demands. But that was worse. Because now, they were afraid. Afraid of the silence. No one knew when it would happen. Only that it would. And then on the 7th day, the lights inside Arcanus flickered, not from damage. From access, someone had entered the system, but there were no ships outside, no enemy signals, no hack alerts. Just one quiet transmission sent from inside the command core. It said, "We remember." That was all. No name, no threat, just memory. Then one by one, the power systems shut down. Cameras, doors, shields, all off, but not broken, just connected. The council stood in the dark, weapons shaking in their hands. Activate backups. Someone yelled. They didn't work in the control room. Screens flickered back on. A face appeared. HumanOldScarred.com. He wore no armor. No medals. No helmet. Just a black coat with the broken star over his chest. A Legion commander. He spoke softly. This is not revenge. The council stared, frozen. This is memory, he said. The wars you started, the colonies you erased, the history you buried. He paused, and for the silence you left us in. Is this our trial? Telro shouted. The commander didn't blink. No, you had your trial when you gave the order to break Earth. This is the result. Behind the commander, another screen came on. It showed planets, millions of voices, worlds once under the Empire's boot. Now rebuilding, they were laughing, living free. This is what you tried to stop, the commander said. This is what we protected. Then kill us, whispered one counselor. The commander leaned closer to the screen. No, tapped something, and the council chamber filled with light. 12 capsules appeared from the floor, glowing faint. Blue dot escape pods. You will not die, he said. You will live. You will go to the very colonies you broke. You will face the people you left to rot. No guards, no ships, no weapons, just you. They tried to protest, but the pods opened, and the lights in the floor pulsed slowly, the same pulse as Earth's warning, one by one. They were forced inside. Raul didn't fight. He stepped in on his own. He looked up at the camera. You waited, he said. The commander nodded once. We were patient. Then the screen went dark. The pods launched. Each one set on a path to a different world, and Earth watched, not to gloat, but to make sure justice landed where it needed to. No wars, no blood, no execution, just consequences. Years later, stories would be told of how the High Council fell, how they arrived, one by one. On the very worlds they once ordered burned, how they were greeted not with violence, but with silence. People turned their backs. No. One spoke to them. No one helped them. They were given no power, no title, just existence. And they lived long lives. Not in chains, but in shame and earth. Earth stayed quiet. The Sentinel remained still in orbit. Warden shut down its systems. The Legion went silent again, not asleep, just watching. The stars moved on. But the galaxy never forgot. Because when Earth finally stood up, it didn't conquer. It remembered, and it made sure everyone else did too. The stars were quiet again. No war, no fear, no empire. It had been 15 years since the fall of the High Council. 15 years since Earth woke up and reminded the galaxy what it meant to cross the line. In that time, new governments rose. Some small, some large, but none tried to build an empire again because Earth still existed. Not as a ruler, not as a conqueror, but as a shadow in the background, still watching, still silent. Earth never joined galactic politics, never sent ambassadors, never opened trade. They didn't need to. The galaxy had learned its lesson when Earth speaks. You listen. But for the last 15 years, Earth hadn't spoken at all. Not a signal, not a reply, not even a warning. They had vanished from communication. People called them the silent planet. Some thought Earth had gone back to sleep. Others believed it was still. It's planning something, but no one dared to test it again. Even pirate groups warned their own. Don't go near Sol. If you see the blue planet, turn around. Even the boldest smugglers stayed away. Not because of weapons, because of what? Earth had become a story, a warning, a power so quiet. It didn't need to prove anything. One day, a small science vessel from the outer world of Kazari drifted too close. It was accidental. Jump miscalculation. They entered soul space, and everything stopped. Their engines froze. The AI shut down. No weapons, no damage, just stillness. Then a message appeared on their screen. White text. Black background. You have entered a restricted memory zone. You will be returned. They didn't even have time to panic. They blinked, and they were gone from Sol. Back in their own space, every system reset. No harm, but every crew member remembered the silence. It wasn't cold. It was final. Back on Earth, no one noticed the galaxy's curiosity. They didn't need attention. The people had. Rebuilt their cities, restored their skies. The Legion walked the earth now, not as warriors, but as guardians. Still ready, still waiting. The Sentinel ship remained. In orbit, unmoving, always watching. Warden, the defense AI, had returned to deep silence. No commands, no alerts. It simply waited in the dark, asleep beneath Earth's oceans. Humans had changed, not just in strength, in purpose. They didn't want expansion. They didn't want revenge. They wanted time, time to grow again, time to remember what it meant to live without war. One day, a group of alien children from the rebuilt world of Liven asked their teacher, "Why does Earth never answer calls?" The teacher smiled, because they already gave the answer. The children didn't understand, so she told the story of the warning, of the silence, of the ghost fleet that wasn't a ghost, of the forgotten legion who walked without pride, of the High Council, who begged for mercy and were given truth instead, and of the day Earth turned a sun against a weapon. It's not with hate, but with message. A message that echoed still. Do not mistake silence for weakness. That day, in every school across every world that once belonged to the Empire, a new rule was added. To every history book, respect the quiet. Simple sentence. But behind it, the story of the only planet that survived everything and came back not to rule, but to remind. One last ship, a private explorer. Many years later sent a signal to Earth, not a call, not a challenge, just a message. Thank you for not destroying us. The ship floated in silence for 2 days. No reply then. Just before the third sunrise, the ship received one file. Audio only, a human voice. A woman, calm, steady, it said. We do not answer calls anymore. We protect memory. Memory protects us. That was the last signal anyone ever got from Earth. They never spoke again. They didn't need to, because some things are remembered forever, and Earth would never be forgotten.